Warning, warning, warning. I'm probably going to sit here and talk for quite some time. I've got quite a lot to get through. I've got quite a lot to discuss. So by all means, if you just want to skip ahead to the part where I sit here and talk about what I personally believe might be the best investments for this restaurant right here, well, just look at the description, scroll down, and skip ahead to the part where it's the conclusion. Instead of potentially being here for maybe about an hour or so, I'd recommend you just skip ahead to the conclusion if you don't have that much time. The difference could be about like an hour compared to like 10 minutes. So, for your consideration, for all the people that don't want to be here for too long. But if you want to actually like understand the goings on and the reasons why certain things are looking very appealing and very interesting and whatnot, sit back and relax. I'm not joking. We do have quite a lot to go through. This video very likely will be saved and pushed ahead to Saturday instead of like out as soon as possible, because I also want to kind of dabble into talk about the situation with Ruskins in general, especially as we're about to approach August Force Wipe. So that's not next week, but it's the week after. But starting August time, I guess we should still start seeing prices starting to improve. And to be honest with you, I'm already starting to notice it. So sit back and relax. Let's start yapping. Right, so first of all, have you seen the first 24 hours of sales? How did we end up with even less sales compared to the previous week? I don't know. Now, it is surprising because last week, we didn't really have anything that stood out super crazy other than the bearskin rug. Bearskin rug was unique, strange, silly. Alright, cool. That sold reasonably, didn't it? But like this week, we had like a green auto turret. We had a Cold Hunter electric furnace. I saw a lot of people like being very positive with that. We got that bed. That bed. Tire tactical gloves. I get the feeling not everybody was like instantly aware of what makes it special, but let me tell you, there's something pretty cool about that. And once you realise, you're going to be like, oh. And of course with the sap, you know what, I'm not surprised to see the sap as the top selling skin of the week. It's the cheapest transparent aim sight sap we currently have. But it's a bit awkward because with the past 3 sap acceptances, we've had transparent aim sight saps. So, Right, well anyway, yeah, top selling skin, only 5,400 subscribers. I'll write it here. Is it the higher prices? But you know what? Some people might sit there and say, oh yeah, the auto turret's too expensive. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, all the recent auto turret skins we've had in the Rust stores sold for $3. $3. That is only 49 cents, a little bit more expensive. Only 49 cents extra. I don't believe that answer. Now, maybe it's more likely a case of, well, you know what? Recently, we have seen a lot of auto turret skins being accepted, and considering what's about to appear, 2 auto turret Twitch drops, you know what? Fair enough. That also might be playing into a factor and whatnot. Same could apply to electric furnace. We have been seeing quite a lot of those skins being introduced, and of course, we've got a Twitch drop as well. So, all right, cool. We have seen a lot of armored doors being accepted as of recent. So it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's due to the fact that we've just seen far too many options as of recent as well. Okay, totally understandable. Maybe it also might be a case of, well, you know what? We've got charity skins this week. But I'll also counter that point and say, well, you know what? Those charity skins, they're not too pricey. Maybe the sleeping bag. But a $2 hammer that looks like that, I mean, come on now, that's an amazing looking hammer. But yeah, you can only buy one of them each. So it's like, really? Is that going to really impact your purchases and whatnot? I'm also very much under the impression, I will sit here and say this as well, I really wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are going to wait till the last second and then jump in and buy. I get the feeling maybe a lot of people will be doing that. I'll also point out, yeah, this Rust store, it rotated fairly late, didn't it? It occurred around 10:30 in the evening in the UK. And I always say this, typically in the past, the average time for a Rust rotation would normally be about 8 o'clock in the evening. Again, Face Punch is based in the UK, so yeah, I base it on UK time. So the current trend is, for like the past 2 months, about 10 o'clock at night. Maybe a lot of people are like, you know what? Because the Rust stores are kind of rotating a fair bit later from now on, I can literally wait till the last second on Thursday, then I'll make some purchases. All right, that might be understandable. That might be a reason, but I am surprised with the start. It's surprising. So anyway, if you want to get a good look at all the brand new skins, please consider watching the roster rotation for July 23, 2026. There is a lot of things to skip ahead to, notably the discussion talking about whether the auto turret is actually camouflage or not. You can't do that in you can't do that in normal Rust. I know the thumbnail's pretty cool, but you can't just put it down in some plants. You have to put a foundation down first, and it will remove the plants, right? Just to get that across to all of you, that's just a joke. Pretty cool looking design, though. Right then, so let's go over to here. Let's take a look at the current Rust store. So as you might notice, that is the first 24 hours of sales. And, right then, well, yeah, that's very low across the board. And just to get the point across, I did bring over the previous 2 weeks of sales as well. The first 24 hours of sales, I should say. So, yep, top selling skin the previous week, UAP Bearskin Rug, and then following that, we had the Transparent Aim Sight, Dominus Mortis LR300, and then we had like Babylon Sheep, Matador, and whatnot. And to be honest with you, with the sales we see here for the skins that are past like the top 3, yeah, it does drop off quite a fair bit. And well, yeah, Hellcore, you did not sell that much, did you? But then with the previous week before that, yeah, I mean, we had some pretty cool looking skins. But over the past few weeks, it has been dropping down more and more and more. What's it going to look like next week? I wonder. So, right then, an interesting pattern we're seeing, even though some of the skins here honestly look like they're going to be pretty cool later on down the line, okay? But let's just establish this point first. A lack of sales definitely makes things a whole lot more interesting for us, the Ruskin investors, right? Get it into your heads that if we were to see interesting sequels, interesting follow-ups, if we start seeing the collections grow ever more, yes, if there's only so many of these skins to go around, all the better for them to rise up in price. Because again, there's only so many of them available. So if people, if there's a sudden burst in demand, a surge in demand, yes, the prices are going to go, whoa. So it's not too hard to understand. In this current position, things are looking a whole lot more appealing. In this current position, I now look at all these skins and I'm starting to question, right, it would probably be harder. There's actually a lot of skins this week that probably are looking to be very appealing to consider buying. Not immediately right now, but I'm starting to notice potential. Like, if anything, how should I say this? It might be easier to point out the skins that don't look as if they might be nice investments this week. I'm not joking. So I wasn't lying when I said, you know what, I might be sitting here for quite some time this video because there is quite a lot to discuss. And yes, this very likely might be the Saturday video now. So, okay, well, should I just go through all the skins in terms of what I personally believe is the best investment for the week? Or maybe that you should save that for the conclusion. I think you should just go through all the skins, discuss all the nice positives, bring up the negatives as well, the potential problems. But guys, there's just such a massive, there's such a massive positive with the fact they're not selling that much. Right then, well, let's just go through all these skins now and discuss how might they behave over the course of time. Cartoon Sap. Let's get this across. There's only 2 skins this week that are not abnormal. Cartoon Sap and Cel Shading Boots, all right? This right here, priced at $2, it is in fact the cheapest and most affordable transparent aim sight sap that we've seen as of recent. So, of course, for the past 3 saps, we've seen the optimized sap and we've seen the tribal alloy sap. Interestingly, this hasn't really dropped off that much. This has. It might just be a reaction. And, of course, as time goes on, I'm still expecting all 3 of these to work out perfectly fine. But it definitely brings up the question of, are we going to start seeing a lot more saps with transparency now? It wouldn't surprise me. Like, you know how every now and then we'll see a transparent aim sight AK-47? Yeah, it's becoming less special. That's what I want to get across. So, of course, last year we had the Heat Seeker sap, we had the B sap, and don't forget, we've also had some very nice looking Twitch drops. Might recall the Trust and Rust pistol, Gevadich's sap. Like, we've had some very nice looking sap skins, and we've got a lot of options now. So, with more options, in theory, well, more problems, maybe more issues. Like, how might I approach this in a reasonable manner? It's less likely that you're going to see these skins flourish. These worked out perfectly fine because we didn't really have any competition for about half a year. And then Tribal Alloy Sap appeared. And then Optimized Sap appeared. Now we had this. So I guess it's quite lucky that these actually had like room to grow. And I will remind you, initially these the B sap, the Heat Seeker sap, they didn't just instantly go up in price. They took a while just kind of existing, struggling. Around just before Christmas, half a year ago, B sap was barely $1.30. Now, somewhat recently, as we went through May time, just before we saw the Trouble LI sap, this was pushing up to $6. Now, though, as you might see, it's about $5. Can we confirm that? I can confirm it's just over $5. And you know what? With a decent amount of sales, it's really not that far off. It could go back up to $6 again. Okay, well, that's cool. So let's also point this out. 11,000 subscribers, 23,300 subscribers, 22,400 subscribers, 17,400 subscribers, and the projected amount for this, maybe at best about 12,000 subscribers. The cheapest one, the lowest sales, and dare I say the cutest one. I'm joking, but, you know, I'm sure you've seen the face. But, you know, there's potential now that this could potentially turn into a brand new collection. Another transparent aim sight collection. Well, why'd you say it in such a way? Because technically right now we have Optimized, Valkyrie, we have Trouble Alloy, Hellcore. We have quite a lot of transparent aim sight collections now. And as we've already kind of got the point across of, it's becoming less special. If everything has a transparent aim sight, pay to win aim sight, well, that would just become the standard, I guess. So, do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I don't know what's going to happen next after this. Maybe we never see another sap being accepted for the rest of this year. Okay, I mean, that would be helpful. But of course we're still expecting Twitch drops, kick drops, you name it. I feel like we're probably going to see another sap this year, and that'll be a Twitch drop or kick drop. I'm not like confirming anything. If anything, I will confirm to you right now, I don't know what's going to come out after the fancy of Twitch drops. Okay? So I'll pass that over to you. But like, we've seen so many AK-47 Twitch drops and kick drops and whatnot. Surely they're going to go for other things. Maybe they'll go for like SARS and whatnot, SKSs. But do not be surprised with the potential of another sap on the horizon, okay? Now, in terms of like, with all the recent success of transparent aim sight saps, don't be surprised if we see more people submitting them as well. Yippee! So, yeah, keep that in mind. If people are getting saps like this accepted, other skin creators will take notice. They'll also provide them as well, okay? So, all right. You are the cheapest. You very likely won't be selling that much by next Thursday. By default, I look at it with positivity. It's the sheer lack of sales that's definitely helping it out the most, 100%. If we see signs of a brand new collection on the horizon, like of course if we see a sequel this weekend, even better, all right? Even better. I think that actually will work out quite all right. And again, you can try your best to do a buy order, but it's not abnormal. And the fact that it's not abnormal probably might lead to some issues. Like, if people realise they missed out, they'll probably jump on and try and put down a stronger bar on it after it's been on the Steam market for quite some time. I think I might be buying some of these just out of precaution. But again, I'd rather wait it out until next Wednesday. We'll do the abnormal barters first, and then I'll look at that and I'll question, you know what? Maybe it might be a situation where it's a sneaky 20 or a sneaky 30, you know, we'll see. But you also have to consider what's going to happen to all these skins as we go through September, October, November. Inevitably, after some good times, we go through bad times. And October is the bad, worst time, right? Rock bottom prices. But after that, we steer closer towards Christmas. We enter post-Christmas, best time to sell. Loads of people playing. Perhaps all these saps that have come out recently may suffer because, of course, there's too many options available that are reasonably affordable. So that could just lead to them getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But with this being the cheapest one, I think that one's likely to be the least to suffer. So there's plenty more to talk about, but I'll save that for the 48 hours of sales when we actually sit down and consider how much it might sell by next week. Because again, I am very much under the impression that a lot of people jump onto that after the abnormals. Again, it's not abnormal, but a lot of people will probably be sitting in my stream and we'll be discussing how we're going to approach it, and I feel confident I will probably be buying some. Okay? I wouldn't be surprised, okay? Again, I don't like to buy anything until I've done the abnormal barters, because then I've got a very good idea of how much each of the skins are going to likely sell by next Thursday, or rather the next day, by that point. So, cool. Sorry that went on for quite a bit, but I'm sure you can understand why I'm a little bit conflicted, worried, unsure, but still quite confident. That's a bit contradictory. Don't worry. Right, anyway, let's move on. Tire tactical gloves. I'm still hoping for tier 3, even though it's been supplied like 4 times. Anyway, as you might notice, this collection is actually doing quite all right. It's not the most reflective or flashy of the blackout alternative options, which is good. You know, you don't want to be seen at night time wearing black, you know, they're stupid. Anyway, with tactical gloves, I know they became brand new Skinnables, back in December? Yep. Ever since we've seen all these skins, only 2 of them have worked out perfectly fine. Do you notice a certain trend here? Pirate tactical gloves, training tactical gloves, blackout alternative options. Now, it's a bit weird to call training collection a blackout alternative because training collection actually came out before blackout, if I can recall. The point still stands. Black clothing and armor sets, they are appreciated. And I know we have a lot of options now. It's kind of getting ridiculous, but they still work out reasonably well. You just saw the tire collection. It's not even complete, and yet it's still doing good. Do I really need to sit here and talk about the pirate collection? All right, let's go. So, pirate collection is probably one of the most affordable of the black alternative sets, and definitely one of the most successful. Ridiculous amount of sales, but as time went on, all those prices, they just kept on improving. So when we eventually saw the road sign gloves, they also sold a very reasonable amount. I was like, you know what, gotta buy a bunch of them. Well, that proved to be successful. Look at the price now, tripled in price. And then, of course, eventually, we saw the pirate tactical gloves earlier this year. And I was like, you know what, I've got to jump onto that. I just can't help but assume they're going to replicate, like they're going to do the exact same with what we saw with the road sign gloves. I went and bought 100 of those. Well, that proved to be very smart. Even though I did over 30,000 subscribers, which of course was very similar to the road sign gloves, it doubled in price. Then, of course, when we saw the training tactical gloves, I remember I was a bit dismissive of them. Respectfully, I screwed up on this. I thought, oh no, is that going to lead to issues and problems? I didn't buy any. Well, look what happened. It doubled in price as well. Can I also point out 31,500 subscribers, 25,000 subscribers almost, and yet first 24 hours of sales, barely over 5,000 subscribers. Do you notice something here? So, I think that might be a very good thing to consider chasing after, and I wouldn't be surprised I'd probably buy quite a decent amount of them. So, you might notice pirate tactical gloves. Did they even suffer? You know what? I want to bring that up. Have they even gone down in price? Can I quickly confirm? With the arrival of tire tactical gloves, have you dropped off when the past 24 hours I've only seen 39 sales? That doesn't seem like people have been like dumping or getting scared or anything. So I'm going to look at the set. No, it's hardly changed. People don't care. What? People do not care. I've actually bought some at that price. Well, good job, Hedge. Anyway, so, So you're telling me we have an incomplete blackout alternative collection, which is actually holding up very nicely, which is still hoping for some tier 3. Maybe one day. Surely one day. I mean, let's consider this. I think those tire tactical gloves are probably going to be a very nice investment. And if we do happen to see the tier 3, that's a bonus. That'll cause everything here to spike on spike price. Maybe even the primitive skins. We'll see. Should we bring up the tire road sign gloves that accepted last year? Yeah, we should bring those up as well. Yeah. So these sold for 99 cents, which of course is a bit cheaper than the tactical gloves. But the point still remains. This is going to be a great thing to learn from, because what I want to see was, did it initially suffer anything? Well, not really. No, it's just been trending upwards for a very long time. After post-Christmas... through post-Christmas... Yeah, okay, so it just went all the way through September, October, November. It still just went up in price. So Easter dip is here. May, June time. Drops off a fair bit recently. Instantly starting to recover. That has had a pretty interesting sales history. So I cannot help but assume those tactical gloves are going to probably be quite appealing. Again, if people aren't buying, there's only so many to go around. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Do I really need to say any more? Like, the whole collection's held up very nicely. Right now, we're technically still in a bit of a dip, but prices are starting to improve. I can't help but assume that tire collection is going to be doing better regardless over the course of the next few weeks. But those gloves, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Maybe it might be the exact same behaviour we saw with the road sign gloves. I'm not expecting it to double in price instantly. I'm pretty sure it's going to take a while for that to slowly and gradually appreciate in value, if you know what I'm saying. It might take until about post-Christmas, which of course is still here we go, about five months away. But if I was to tell you, look at this thing, in 5 months' time it's going to double in price, and it's going to be quite easy to sell them, would you turn that down? Would you say no? Do you have the budget? So, yeah, I look at that with positivity. But it might be it looks as if it's going to be more of a long-term thing. And again, who knows? What if we end up seeing the Tire Tier 3 finally being accepted as well? I mean, it's still a bit of a hope. Please, Facebook. But yeah, that's in a good spot. I like it. I'm impressed. Night Instant Bed. I actually didn't realise its name until a little bit earlier. I never even bothered to read the name. I just looked at it and said PP bed. PP bed, yes. Now, we're actually just sitting down earlier and just making some jokes about, could you even have a collection continuation for this? I've had one solid idea. Burlap pants with a yellow streak going down, and from Nothing But Dude, a rug. Of course, a rug. A stained rug. Who made that stain? Who made the stain? So, yeah, there's still potential for collection continuations with this and whatnot. But now I question, can the joke hold up the value? Because, of course, let's just point this out. We've got lots of beds, ridiculous amounts of beds, an absurd amount of beds. It has kind of slowed down recently. I'd say in the past few months, it has become quite noticeable that we just don't see as many beds as we used to. But still, in the past year, we have seen 36 beds being introduced to Rust. So, do you stand out perfectly fine compared to the other glow-in-the-dark designs and whatnot? Because again, if you have not yet seen it for yourself, and again, consider watching my Rust rotation video to see, that stain glows in the dark. Oh, how lovely! It's a white Sorry, I hiccuped. It's a white canvas. And I have made art. Witness it. Appreciate it. I don't care if it smells. Witness it. Anyway, so, that's goofy. That's wacky. That's silly. I'm not sure if we're going to see a proper collection being built up from this and whatnot. But, again, I will ask you, the viewer, right now, feel free to comment below, do you feel like that joke can last forever? Or are we going to see other things that come out that might take away, the funniness from that? Could there be something even sillier? Even goofier? Don't say the other type of potential spillage, right? Don't you dare. Shut up. Anyway. I've got a different colour stain. No. Sorry. Right. No, not that. No. Anyway, we're not doing that as a sequel. No. Okay, moving on. So, I am a little bit unsure about this one. I like it for what it is. It is goofy. But you know what? With the lack of sales, it's definitely making it look a whole lot more appealing as well. So, I have to respect that, you know what? That probably could be working out very nicely if it only ends up with about 10,000 subscribers. It takes maybe one or two streamers or content creators to just sit there and say, I love this bed. I love gifting it to other people in my group, you know? And then it'll probably start to kick off and work out very nicely in the future, you know? So, all right, potential for sequels. Not that many sales. I'm sure we're going to see some funny jokes of it in the future. Trust me, I got one prepared. I got a short video all figured out. I think that actually could have a pretty interesting future. Like I said, it's more of a struggle trying to identify which skins this week are going to actually work out badly, I guess. Because so much of the skins this week with the lack of sales are looking so much more appealing. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on that one. Project Nova Garage Door. Right, let's just point this out. I've said it several times, but let's just quickly showcase this to you. The skin creator is Decap. He made the greening area collection. He is definitely like experienced and, dare I say, qualified to make some very cool glow-in-the-dark deplorable designs. So, all right then. I have that level of trust. And, you know, let's hope we see some more greening area skins in the future, I guess. But now we've got something quite the opposite. A nice, warm, somewhat vintage-style logo for a garage door and a sheep in the door. But here's the funny thing. It's the low sales. Wow. But no, seriously, take a look at this. First 24 hours of sales, you'll see that this did only 4,400 subscribers. 2 weeks ago, the sheep in the door sold more. It sold more. So, are you telling me we're going to have a garage door that's going to sell potentially less than, let's see here, 12,800 subscribers? Yes, I'm sitting here and believing that's going to be the case. Okay, well, you know what? That's totally fine. Right, but let's also bring this up as well. I've seen many instances in the past where I've seen like a deplorable collection get a few skins accepted, but then stop. And in a lot of those instances, it'll have a sheep in the door and a garage door, and they suffer bad. Like, I recently talked about the Tomb of the Octopus. There's an interesting electric furnace. Oh, there you go. There was an interesting electric furnace that was posted recently, and I brought up, yeah, this is what we saw a lot of like a year or two ago. Be prepared for potential disappointment as well. However, 19,500 subscribers, 11,300 subscribers. Like, you know, that sheep in the door did sell more than this one. And we didn't see another sequel for these for like a year. And it stopped again. So whilst these did spike in price for a brief amount of time, they went back down again. So are we going to end up like greening area, which got quite a lot of skins accepted, and not only is it green, but it's in the green. Ha ha! Are we going to be nice and hot with a lot of interest and a lot of demand? Or does it stop here? Or do we get one more acceptance and then it stops? Or do we go all the way and get like 10 skins accepted? This is the annoying part where it's like, keep an eye on the workshop and hope for the best. But the lack of sales definitely makes it look a whole lot more interesting. I feel like there's a fairly decent chance it might just about barely reach 10,000 subscribers, you know? Barely. So, maybe that could be a great benefit to it. But again, look at how many garage doors we've seen so far this year, and notice how many of them are actually in the positive. 2! That's it. We have seen 24 garage doors so far this year. Only 2 of them are currently in the positive. Now, of course, over the course of the next few weeks, we're expecting a lot of improvement and prices rising up and whatnot. But that is quite alarming. We've seen a lot of garage doors, and not too many of them are actually looking good. But again, if that sheep in the door got completely cleaned out the second the garage door appeared, surely if we saw another deplorable of any sort being accepted, the garage door would also get bought out as well? Maybe. Wow, you're $5. What? Huh. Right, that's $5 now. Interesting. I thought it was 4. No, it's gone up even higher, Hedge. Wow. 49 have sold in the past 24 hours. Well, that's looking pretty good. But those sales, right? Those sales, they very likely will reappear in the Steam market afterwards. The price very likely will go back down again. Not down and become go in the negative. But, if that does keep piling on after a while, it very likely could. Okay? So I feel like I've said more than enough. I look at it positively, but I need to see more. I like the design. It looks cool. It's got an interesting vintage style. But I have seen many instances in the past with just a sheep in the door and a garage door that there's probably a lot of problems and issues eventually. Nova skin looks good with the space station high quality metal skin. I should make a short video and see that for myself. Good, that's a good shout, Mr. Mustafa. I should test that out. So, all right, keep an eye out for that in the future, and yeah, I'll probably get that made. So, all right then, maybe that might be what helps sell it. We'll see. But at the moment, I must reiterate and make a big fuss that this is not selling that much, and it is projected to sell less than a sheep in the door. Right. So I've even made like a short video talking about this auto turret today. Yep, you can see it over to here. Scientist Sentry auto turret camouflage, ? It's green. Cool. Does that instantly mean it's worth like so much more because it's quote unquote camouflage? Is it camouflage? I feel like if you just had a darker pigment, sort of like auto turret, like I said with the example of the pirate auto turret, if you just have it in some shade and whatnot, wouldn't it just be just as effective, like in the jungle and whatnot? Is this the only green auto turret we're going to see in the future? Like from here and now and in the future is what I meant to say. Like, surely we're going to have a kick auto turret, but maybe that might glow. Maybe. Are we going to see more discrete green auto turrets? There you go. That'll be the answer. That'll be the question to ask. And the answer we need to know of. That right there only managed to do just over 4,000 subscribers. But again, in comparison to the previous week's skin, so of course, you know, like ice cold, that right there, it really wasn't selling that much initially. So that only had 2,600. But you know what? I guess it's not too surprising because, of course, we had those Twitch drops. We have the charity event Twitch drop, and we had the Fancy of Global Warfare 4 Twitch drop. Two perfectly fine, very interesting glow-in-the-dark designs. That wasn't going to have a fun time, was it? But the fact that we have this one now, okay. Still, whilst you have sold more compared to Ice Cold, you're still selling quite a lot less, like compared to, let's just take for a look. Well, actually, you know what? You're doing better than Tempered. Gold chains, all right, you know what? Maybe it's not that bad. But then again, you know, with the first few skins that are accepted, you know, we've discussed this plenty of times. The potential of the brand new Skinnables issue. Oh, you can notice it right here. Auto Turret became the brand new Skinnable last month. Since then, we have seen a lot of skins already. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 13. In, well, about 2 months, we have seen 13 skins. What? We're seeing far too many of them being accepted. The first few did sell quite a ridiculous amount. Maybe around 5,000 to 10,000 subscribers is what we should be expecting for typical sales now for auto turrets. Maybe that's just how it is now. Probably, but you know what? Let's also point this out. I really wouldn't be surprised if we probably get at least almost 30 auto turrets by the end of this year. I really wouldn't be surprised. Because, of course, consider Halloween and Christmas, and then, of course, more Twitch drops and kick drops. I really wouldn't be surprised. Okay? So, all right. You know what? Maybe it's dawning on people right now. You know what? We've seen far too many skins. I've already bought one. Do I really need to get another one? Like, are people even salivating over this green auto turret? I did put out a goofy tweet. Here you go. Let me go find it. So if I go over to here, that's not a goofy tweet. That was quite literally me announcing I'm streaming. Let's talk about the situation with Ruskins right now, which what we're doing right now. So if I could just quickly show off the goofy tweet, that actually went around quite a fair bit. By Hedge standards, that did get around 7,000 views. Again, it's not really huge in the grand scheme of things, but quite a lot of things I have only do about 1,000 views and whatnot. How many people are wishing and hoping that they can pull that off? Because you can't do it in normal Rust. But it takes one good video, one solid good video showcasing and utilizing this in an interesting fun video. Like, suddenly everybody wants to buy it and use it as well and try and do the same. People love to emulate stupid goofy ideas. Can you hide several of these in a jungle and trick a lot of people? Set up traps? Like, I could see that being a funny thing. Funny thing. Just continue. But do you know what I'm saying? But again, are you going to be the only green auto turret we see in the foreseeable future? I just don't think so. Might entice people more to build custom safe zones with passive mode auto turrets. Camo and RP potential with the scientist turret. There's also the ability to grab power from the power lines, which should be available in the upcoming August Force Wipe. You know, there's that as well. So, like, I think we're going to see some pretty goofy things. But we're not going to see this get really silly until we start seeing those videos, those shorts, streamers utilizing these in funny ways. So maybe the fatigue is just too powerful. Are you going to actually manage to retain your value? I am a bit conflicted because I have been sitting here and trying my best to actually try and like consider, are you actually special or are people just overreacting? Because, you know, I will remind people, you know, in the description of this video right now, we do have a link to the official Ruskin Making Discord. I mean, right now they're just posting weird, strange things. That's quite a common occurrence, don't worry. But there's an announcement section over here, and quite some time back they did sit here and say, please refrain from trying to make camouflage auto turrets. It was June 11, 2026, because I made the short video, I remember what I said. So over to here. A little bit more. No, it was right there, Hedge. There you go, yeah. I get the feeling even Face Punch realised, you know what, maybe we're just overreacting. Go on, open the doors. Let's just go accept some green auto turrets and some white ones and some brown ones for the desert and whatnot. I mean, you've still got to put a foundation down and whatnot. I keep saying that. So, yeah. Looking at that, with more, like even more auto turrets expected, do you reckon that's just going to get lost in the shuffle? I am quite sceptical about that. But I'm also like, you know what, it just takes one good video and then everybody wants it. But that could be said for everything, you know? That can be said for everything. So, I'm conflicted. I can't sit here and say I'm feeling very, very, very confident, but I respect that there's good potential there. But I'm also worried about like the amount of auto turrets we're expecting. You've already said this about 3 times, Hedge. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand I'm conflicted. So I'm just going to have to move on. By all means, off your own like thoughts, your comments, comment below. I'm not 100% sure what to say about this. I am sure what I want to say about this. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be rude. It's a perfectly fine looking AK. And you know what? With the style it has, we could probably get a pretty cool looking weapon collection being built up from this and whatnot. But with what we've seen recently being accepted and whatnot, with some very interesting collections being built up and whatnot with certain AKs and all that and whatnot, blah, 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 I don't think that's going to hold up. I really wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a 60 cent to 80 cent barter. I'm very sorry to say, but I don't think it stands out that much. I would like to see a weapon collection being built up. Again, it's unique, it's strange, it's weird, it's wacky. Don't be upset, Skin Creator. Keep up the good work. It's just, you know, when we see AK-47s being accepted, it's got to have some real interesting things about it. Whether it might be pay-to-win features or a very wacky looking design. I don't think that's wacky enough. And it certainly isn't pay-to-win. So, very straightforward answer. That will be a 60 cent to 80 cent barter. Sorry to say. Maybe a lack of sales might help it out. But we certainly have plenty of AK-47s from the past that didn't sell that much. I'm not joking. We have a ridiculous amount of AK-47s. Like, I don't even think we can see all of them here on SCMM. 336. And we still keep seeing more and more and more. Even the recent transparent aim sight Valkyrie AK-47 is starting to slip down in price. So, yeah, just being honest with you, okay? Abyss Armored Door. We have seen some pretty interesting Abyss skins being accepted recently, and can we acknowledge, whilst these recent skins, you know, not all of them are doing perfectly fine, they're only slightly down in price. Down 15, down 2, down 2. That's hardly anything. And I will remind everybody, when times are good, Abyss skins, they go up in price. They get bought out. They do good. All right? They do good. I've seen this happen. Like, at least, well, you know, at least in 2 waves. Let's go with that, 2 waves, because some of these skins came out back in 2023, so I've seen this happen like 2024, 2025, and I'm expecting it all over again with 2026. Like, if anything, I remember during post-Christmas, a lot of these skins were doing absolutely fantastic, right? Brand new all-time high prices and the like. You get the idea. Cool. So, with the skins you see here, whilst they look as if they're barely holding up their value and whatnot, just you wait. Keep an eye on these over the course of the next few weeks. And of course, keep an eye out. January 2027, post-Christmas, I really wouldn't be surprised if they do even better. This collection is appreciated. It is adored. And now we have an armored door. An armored door that looks like this. That is freaky. That is wacky. That is quite unique. It's not selling that much. This doesn't even look like it's going to crack 8,000 subscribers. Now, of course, wait until like Thursday. Don't be surprised if a lot of people suddenly start jumping in. But we have noticed as of recent certain deplorables that didn't end up selling that much, but definitely have some very interesting potential. Case in point, do you remember quite some time back I was making a big fuss about this locker? Oh, here we go. Can you find it, Hedge? Well, it's nice and purple and distinct. I should be able to... There you go, done. I made a big fuss about that locker on the night just after we did the abnormal barders. I sat there and said, you know what, guys? With the position it's in, with the collection that it is, I think that's actually going to work out very nicely in the further future. I literally declared I'm going to go buy some, and that's when I made that short video. Since then, okay, you know what? It's only held up its value as of now, but we're not in a good time just yet. We're not in a great time just yet. We still have to be a little bit more patient. That only has so many listings. That could easily rise up in price with just a few purchases. Suddenly then it's like $4. I can't help but assume the position that this is in right now, the Armored Door very likely will be in the same position at some point later this year as well. If anything, could be in the next few weeks. If anything, maybe more around January time. And of course, the easy answer is because we've just seen far too many Armored Doors being accepted in such a short amount of time. Like, let's be real here. This is the focused item of the month. And in the past, 4 Rust Doors? Yep, because we have 5 Rust Doors this month. In the past 4 Rust Doors, we've seen 7 Armored Doors being accepted. And I know I was making jokes. You better hope that these other skins we see in the future have anime girls on the front and whatnot. Monster Girl. I should never have even bothered. But, you know, with this design, with the success we've had with previous door skins and whatnot with this, like, I think this could be fun. I think that's actually be a very interesting thing to keep an eye out for. I did refrain from buying the Armored Door from the previous week. Which one was it? I made a short video about it. Gothic Veil. I looked at it. I questioned it. I already had a very good bargain in it. I thought, you know what? I'm going to step aside. I'm going to leave that. But this Armored Door right here, it does look it looks as if it's going to sell less than that. It really does. This honestly has the potential to be the lowest selling skin out of all the Abyss collection. And I just can't help but assume, you know what, that's going to probably work out very nicely as time goes on. It might be a bit of a slow rise in value, but I'm keeping an eye on that. Again, abnormal barders first, then we'll start properly assessing if we actually want to jump in and buy some straight from the Rust Door, okay? So, I feel like I said more than enough. It's in a very, 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 very interesting spot. Cold Hunter Electric Furnace. You are $4. If you were $2, you know what? I think it probably would have sold quite a fair bit more. But now, after many years being a very successful weapon-only collection, which was very in demand, let me tell you, so much these skins have been very high in price in the past. Like, you know, if it was post-Christmas, these would be even higher. I'm sure these other skins would actually be in the green. We recently saw an Armored Door being accepted. Now we've got an Electric Furnace. Okay. I'm looking forward to even more. I think that the Cold Hunter collection is now going to dabble into a whole lot more deplorables, and I just can't help but assume there might be a higher price skin. They might not all sell that much, but the more the merrier. The more deplorables we see being accepted, the more the original ones are likely to go up in price. The first few, basically. So, as of now, this very likely will end up being the lowest selling electric furnace out of all the electric furnaces. And currently, I believe the leader in that regard is the Temple. No, it's Crypt. Okay, that just about managed to sell more than that one then. Okay, cool. This definitely looks as if it's going to sell less than that. It really does. This very likely might struggle to even reach 8,000 subscribers. Okay, you know what? With the potential, with where this collection is going to go, with the potential of maybe a sheet metal double door that I asked for, someone's got to ask them, all right? Give me some transparency as well, please. Anyway. I believe we will be seeing a lot more of this. I believe Face Punch is totally fine with a brand new, interesting side category of deplorables. Like, I think we're going to be seeing quite a lot of these. Not specifically electric furnaces, but now I'm expecting like a regular Cold Hunter furnace Can I get a chair? Can I get a table? Can I get a garage door? Can I get a, no, a sheet metal door? Can I get a sheet metal door? You get the idea. Locker, large box, small box. None of them will glow in the dark, but hey, so as long as they're consistent and we see more skins being accepted, I'm all for it. I look forward to it. So, okay, maybe that actually might work out quite all right. But again, how many electric furnaces are we going to see by the end of this year? I won't be surprised if we potentially go all the way up to 30 as well. Like, with these more recent brand new Skinnables, we have consistently been seeing like a lot of skins being accepted. But at some point, surely it's going to slow down. Like, I did notice beds kind of slowed down with the amount of acceptances they got. Because, like, we kept seeing, like, auto turrets and electric furnaces and barbecues and whatnot. So, okay, we'll see how it goes. I am, of course, expecting more electric furnaces. Surely, come on now, surely. But, is anything going to really compare to this? It's a strange, wacky-looking design. It's a cold furnace. Sure. But if there's only so many to go around, and potential of sequels and collection continuations in the future, well, maybe that actually might be doing pretty good in the future. A higher price definitely makes it a bit more questionable. Again, higher price skins do tend to struggle to maintain their price. You've got to have enough demand for people to want to buy a fairly valuable skin. You know, compare it to a skin that might be only worth about $2. What gets more sales? What do you reckon? So, all right, I am still a bit hesitant. But even then, I'm still looking at you with positivity. Yeah. So I'm going to have to leave you for now, because I have to talk about the Angel Sword. But it's not going to be for long, because Salvaged swords look like this. Pretty much every single Salvaged sword that has appeared after 2020 has basically halved in price. Like, I think it's going to be harder to see which skins are actually in the positive. So let's go ahead and do that. Highest price. We have... I think you're looking at about 13 skins that are in the positive, and then 29 of them that are in the negative. Oh, that's not looking very good, is it? No. And with all due respect, with this, with this design, I could imagine we're going to get like some more biblically accurate sort of angel designs. What's next? I have no idea. Have people been asking? Not really. So we'll see what happens next in that regard. But I just don't trust Salvaged swords at all. I'm sorry to say, I really wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be a 60 cent to 80 cent barter. 60 cent to 80 cent barter. I'm sorry to say, so many Salvaged swords have appeared as of recent. All of them just... So, do I really need to say any more? I'm sorry to say. It's not the skin. It's the fact that it's a Salvaged sword skin. If that was like a Thompson or something, you know what? I'd think differently, especially with the amount of sales. But even then, with a Salvaged sword that hasn't really sold that much, even then, I don't think that's enough to help it. Sorry to say. Well, moving on. Well, we just got ourselves a green pair of boots. Mostly green. Now, I will say this. Of course, I've made my budget camouflage videos. So if you were to go to Hedge's videos and look at most popular, it's almost my best ever top performing video. But I do say this, if you're looking for like green camouflage for boots, to be honest with you, with the grass and whatnot, you could just wear regular boots or no boots. Yeah, because it's so your feet are usually always covered. So if anything, maybe green boots are not that in demand and whatnot. Like, we do have a good thing to compare to, because you might recall, I know we had the Cel roadside gloves last year, but what appeared after that we instantly compared to? Fish. Yes, we got fish roadside gloves and boots, didn't we? So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I want to see how that's currently faring. So those boots are only just about managing to retain their value. Those gloves are only just about managing to retain their value. I've just noticed there's over 200 listings here. Have we got some stupid people doing stupid things? Let's go ahead and find out. Yeah. That's quick. Yeah, some people just can't help themselves. I could make a penny profit. I learn everything. You know what? How much did they sell? Let's also bring that up. 13,000 subscribers and 11,000 subscribers. I don't think the boots have major dumpings. I got a 35 there. I was wrong. So yeah, there's always at least 1 or 2 people that just cannot help themselves, okay? It's unfortunate, but it happens a lot. So in regards to that, are we going to see the exact same thing here? Well, not really, because I think this is going to struggle to even reach 5,000 subscribers. So looking at the actual Cel collection itself, which of course I did showcase in that special budget video, I have to sit here and say, I think those boots actually might just work out perfectly fine, because they're going to sell significantly less compared to the Tier 2 armor and the road sign gloves. Now, is there going to be actual demand? Because, you know, as much as I can sit here and showcase... let's just go the video. As much as I can sit here and showcase these skins and whatnot, and trust me, I'm probably going to have to make a 2027 edition, because we have seen those, like, Lunar New Year, Tier 2 armor, we had the Easter armor, that was, like, very transparent. You're probably only looking at about, like, maybe 30 cents profit. Is that really appealing? Probably not. But I'm not joking when I say, if you were to look at, like, the Cel road sign gloves, if you could just see how they are performing before we saw Fish, they weren't doing stupendous. They weren't doing amazing, but I did showcase them in that budget video. And as you might notice, as we go over to here, you'll see with your own eyes, oh yeah, okay, so they're selling for about $1.30 around March time. Oh. So, sold for 99 cents. Its highest point was about $1.30. So, that might not be super appealing to a lot of people. I mean, you can comment below. Maybe that still might be good to you. You know what? You can still try for a bar order as well. But again, this right here is one of the skins that's not abnormal this week, okay? So, maybe that might have just kind of made you realise, you know what, maybe I should just avoid that. But I should say, I do remember this, so if I could just quickly remind myself of, like, previous boot skins in, like, Complete the Sets Rastors. Yes. I do recall getting, like, some, like, random boots finally accepted in a collection that's been waiting for them for a very long time. Has proven to be quite successful for certain collections, like Skull Killer. Yep. You're not Camouflage, but you were part of a fairly in-demand collection. And whilst most of the things here aren't exactly doing stupendous, because you sold quite a fair bit less in comparison to the other skins here, 6,000 subscribers versus 13,000, 13,000, 15,000, 20,000, 16 to 18,000. Yeah, that just went up in price insanely. Could we see something like that with the Cel boots, maybe? It's a nice thing to bring up, but nothing is a guarantee, all right? So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. 5,000 subscribers is a very, very rough estimate. I'll figure it out, but, like, it is going to be selling the least amount compared to all the other clothing armor. And, hey, let's see if the skin creator considers making some hoodie and pants. Some tier 3 armor. Has it been made? Let's go ahead and find that out. They are yet to consider even doing it. Maybe I had to send a message. Has anyone asked? Let's go find out. 4 comments. Oh yeah, look, they're asking for V2. Well, they didn't need to. Haha. Right, so that was they're asking for version 2 of the boots because the road sign gloves got accepted. I'm now asking for hoodie and pants. I will ask. So, all right, we'll see what happens next. That might take a while, so keep an eye out. Right, so yeah, that was a lot of yapping, but that was a lot to convey and get across. There's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of opinions, but evidently the lack of sales has definitely put all of those skins in a very interesting position. Feel free to comment below. Out of all these skins, which one do you personally believe is the best investment of the week? But now, I kind of want to just talk about other things. And then, of course, eventually, towards the end of the video, we will have the conclusion. Have you been keeping track of all of your skins in your inventory? All right. Have you noticed that certain prices are starting to improve? I was very tempted to make I didn't want to make another summer progress video, or rather, I don't want to do one right now. But with some of the things that I'm about to showcase to you, it very likely will be brought up again in an upcoming summer progress video. AKA, that might not happen until around the beginning of August. On SMM, you can see I can easily just, sign in, get my inventory value. And recently I have talked about how, I reached a fairly low point of just under 62,000. So 61,969. So yeah, around $62,000 here. But it has perked up, and it's recently gone up a little bit. It's almost 66,000 right now. Sorry about that. I've had to burp for a very long time. I can see all my skins perfectly fine, which is a lot nicer to say, because with the recent changes, I cannot use my extensions with my inventory at the moment. But I am noticing that things are starting to improve. But another way of looking at things is that you can actually look on SMM, the market cap section. Now, what we have here, I believe is the past 30 days. And you notice at the very beginning of June, things weren't looking very nice. But then it starts to pick up quite nicely. Oh, okay. So in the past 24 hours, things have been improving by 0.4%. In the past week, almost up 2%. But compared to the past 30 days, overall, it's like only up by about 0.2%. I'm not really sure how that works fully. But what you can look at specifically, oh, what's this? What's all this over here? You can see the past 24 hours and the past 7 days and the past 30 days of improvements or, or potential problems. So if I was to sit here and only type in like whiteout, here you go. Can you show me all the whiteout skins? Boom. Oh. Okay. Do you notice how we've only been seeing improvements for pretty much all the skins here? Yeah, overall the face mask has been a bit... But you know what? Look at the kilt. I need to see that kilt go up in price. You might recall my How Power account, my isolated account. I accidentally bought a whiteout kilt. I didn't mean to, but I did. I needed to go up in price so I could sell it and get my money back. Maybe a little bit of profit as well. The strangest and silliest investment that could be. But do you see what I've done there? So it might not just be whiteout. You know what? I might sit here and say, you know what? I want to see all the Heat Seeker skins. Can I get a good look at all the Heat Seeker skins? Because some of you might have investments and whatnot. And ooh, look at that. So I can see the majority of skins here are doing pretty sweet. The AK-47, I mean, you could be better. But in the grand scheme of things, I guess you're still quite all right. So yeah, 30 days probably is the biggest indicator if things are A-OK. Because as much as skins can improve within the past like 24 hours, maybe it dropped down pretty badly in the past week. Of course, dropped down pretty badly in the past month. So as you'll notice, oh wow, that sap's doing very good. even though we just saw another transparent aim sight sap. Well, people probably look at that with the most positivity and they appreciate this design the most. Also considering the success of the Heatseeker collection. So yeah, this is insightful, this is helpful, and I would recommend that you give this a good look as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this in the description and go ahead and take a look. Just start looking at other skins. Like you might be invested into certain collections, you might be invested in certain skins, you might be considering wanting to buy certain collections. Like right now, some of you are probably sitting there and saying, Hedge, when's the best time to buy Forest Raiders? I mean, I've kind of alluded to it. I've kind of alluded to it quite a lot throughout this video. Wait until October time. If anything, around October time, go to the market cap section, search for Forest Raiders, and if you see everything predominantly in the red, it's probably a good time to consider buying. Yes, because if the prices are down, that's when it's the best time to buy. But if prices are going up, great time to sell. So yeah, when it's a great time to sell, it's not a good time to buy. But when prices are down bad and it's a bad time to sell, it's a great time to buy. Yeah. So that's why I always say, October time, it might be terrible to sell, but it's an absolutely great time to buy. But of course, inevitably, Christmas, post-Christmas, great time to sell, but not exactly the best time to buy. But if you've made like tons of sales and whatnot, maybe you're more than happy to go buy some things. Or if you be patient, you wait until the Easter dip, wait until around March time, then you buy. So you could be strategic, you could be smart if you understand how this all works. So of course, after the Easter dip, we recently had the May and the June rise, but then we had this June dip happen all over again. But now, fingers crossed, as we start to notice improvements towards the end of July, we should be peaking again around August time. Which, is just about to happen in a few days' time. So, alright, cool. Look around this, start navigating. Maybe you only care about, I don't know, Island Assault. Yeah, Island Assault, how's that doing? Not too bad. All right, if you got the kilt, yeah, everything else is starting to improve. Wow, those road sign gloves are doing pretty sweet. Keep an eye on that, or maybe now is a good time to consider selling. So if I click this, I get the specific page. Turns out I own 70 of them. I can now go to the Steam market. I can look at it over to here as well. So we just got this as a nice example. So how have you actually been performing based on what we see here? And you know what? I do notice it has been improving. Although it has noticeably dropped off a fair bit as well. Has someone decided to start dumping? No? Okay. Maybe I'll wait it out at least another week. Wait till August 4 swipe perhaps. Then I'll consider my next moves. But as I've said many times, during August is usually when we have the summer peaks. All-time high prices. But alternatively, I can point this out right now. Certain skins are just so in demand right now that they're just pushing ahead and just doing great. Heatseeker MP5, I've been talking about this non-stop over the past summer. Or rather, talk about this summer progress and whatnot. You could probably already see that rise in value right there. But, yep, 150 plus sales in the past 24 hours. It's pushing up to $5. And I can confirm right now, it has reached its all-time high price. And I don't think it's stopping. I think that's going to continue to climb. Even though we have seen notable transparent aim sight MP5s as Twitch drops and skins being accepted, the demand is so strong, just keeps going up. Interesting. I will remind you, we did happen to see a tribal alloy MP5 with transparency being posted, but that was the same time we saw the Valkyrie MP5 transparency being posted. Look what got accepted. The non-transparent Valkyrie MP5. So, okay, cool. Well, if nothing is out there to cause any issues for you like right now, that very likely is just going to go full steam ahead and potentially rise all the way up to $6. Because as I look at this, yeah, you got a 10 there and a 23 there. To be honest with you, with the demand it has, with the sales it's currently having, we're burning through it. It's Heatseeker. So, cool. Start looking around. Start figuring out what you're going to do next. Oh, wow, that's been going up in price quite a fair bit. I've had a few people dump these on me accidentally. Oh, okay, Toxic Furnace, I'll be keeping an eye on you. I've actually had a few people dump on me by accident. Right, cool. In fact, you know what? I could show you here. Toxic Furnace. For me, it's about $8. But for what they sold it to me for, $1.50, $1.50. And also, you're probably going to sit there and say, Hedge, how come you're selling a Hellcore Thompson? You might notice I have no money. But I did look at the Hellcore Thompson. Oh, don't worry about that. That's for a short video. Hellcore Thompson, please. I looked at the skin. It's pretty much the exact same as the Heatseeker MP5. I was like, you know what? I could list 3 of them. I'll get some funds, boost myself up a bit more. Yeah, so look at that. I thought, you know what? This should be okay to consider selling now. And that's how I think. That's how I operate. If I had some Heatseeker MP5s, I do. I probably consider selling them. But with Heatseeker MP5, with the success it keeps on having, with the gains it keeps on having, even though we've had other skins appear that could challenge it, I can't help to assume next year it's going to keep on rising up more. And the year after that, just keep on rising up more. I can't want to hold on to them for the long term. What's the long term, Hedge? It's longer than you think. So, all right, cool. Okay, we get the point. Let's go hop back there to the Rusty market. So, I'm sorry if this got a bit rambly and a bit silly, but things are actually starting to improve very nicely. Player count's been all right. Over the course of this weekend, it will be a fair bit better compared to June, but I think it's only going to be slightly better compared to June after we've actually finished off this month. I'm not sure how many people are going to be playing when the Global Warfare event takes place next week. And by the way, consider watching me if you want to potentially get those brand new Twitch drops. By the way, where's this? But yes, do consider watching Mr. Hedge as he screams about art and whatnot, because I've somehow become the leader of the artists. That's going to be funny. But yes, got some very nice looking skins right here. 4 very interesting Twitch drops. And of course, with the charity skins that we've already kind of talked about, yeah, you can get a good look at that in that video right over there. All you have to do is watch anyone streaming Rust on Twitch for a certain amount of time, and all of those skins can be yours for absolutely free, except the charity skin that you had to buy for the Rust one. So, right, cool. So, all right, cool. But yep, with the sales of the hammer and the sleeping bag, they should be contributing to this. So by the time you're watching this video, right? By the time you're watching this video, go check twitch.facebook.com. I think this might be unlocked. I'm surprised with how long it's taken for this to get the money from the sales. It's slow. All right, whatever. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure we would have reached about 250,000 by now. Right then. So, anything else to address? We've already kind of talked about, like, the player count. But the things we're seeing here, I think we could go ahead and highlight Mr. Protox again. So if I could just quickly close that, go over to here. Mr. Protox is keeping an eye on all the interesting things that are being shown. So, yep, more farming content on the horizon. We've got lambs, we've got sheep, we've got calves, we've got cows. So evidently, it looks as if you might be able to get some lambs or some calves, and then you have to look after them and love them, and then they grow up, and then you kill them and you eat them. So, you know. Mr. Vase, you can't call your lamb Mr. Kebab. No. Actually, no. I'm going to call my cow Steak. Steak pie. Yeah, no, no. Okay, I have two of them. Steak and pie. Here you go. Right, anyway. So, yeah, Mr. Protox is keeping track of all the new things that are being added. And, yeah, Philly, you've made a computer in Rust. You can play Rust and Rust. What? Yep. But, yeah, there you go. Showcasing the intended plan of being able to get electricity from the telephone poles and whatnot. You climb up it, you put your wire in, and now you're getting free electricity. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll link that in the description so you can see it for yourself, right? Keep an eye on Mr. Protox. He will keep you informed of all the brand new content that's on the horizon. August 4 swipe is just around the corner. We still have one more Ruster in between, though. And, of course, with all the yapping we've done today, I will remind you, right? I will remind you, abnormal barders are super helpful, okay? Now, last week, we had low sales. Initially, things weren't looking super interesting. Initially, things weren't exactly looking very promising. But as time went on, with the sales that passed, I just kind of realised, you know what? I am noticing a pretty interesting pattern with black beds. With that, black beds, black tactical gloves. Anyway, the point still stands. As I was looking at all the bed skins that exist, two notable beds that are accepted at the same time. Pirate bed and Black Ops bed. These two are the only other black beds that we have in all of Rust. Now, it might be debatable with some of the designs, but they are just straight up just black beds. They don't glow in the dark. They're from notable collections. And after I put two and two together with the training collection, well, that's in a very similar spot. All three of them do not have glow in the dark. They're all from black alternative collections and whatnot. Like, yeah, that was good. It hadn't sold that much. In fact, it had sold a very similar amount compared to these. And if I looked at all the beds right now in terms of highest price, oh, look at that. They're two of the top performing beds. Only then did I realise, you know what, that's actually a great thing to consider buying. So I always sit here and say, if you want to be smart about making investments with Rust skins, wait it out, do the abnormal barders, right, look at the sales and whatnot, make considerations for sequels and all that. And I can confirm to you, after doing the abnormal barders, I bought 30 of the bearskin rugs and 30 of the training beds. I thought, you know what, with the sales, with the potential, yeah, go on then, I'll give it a shot. I wasn't 100% sure the bearskin rug was going to be totally fine. You never know what stupid things might happen. I was kind of worried that maybe that could become a focused item of the month. But I can confirm to you, at the very least for August 2026, the focused item of the month is going to be the bucket helmet. So what I'll do is I'll link this right here, the most recent bucket helmets. I'll put that in the description of this video, and you can start keeping an eye out, because over the course of this weekend, you will start seeing bucket helmets being posted. What interesting collections might we see? Well, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out. And I'm sure many of you are fully well aware, for August 4 swipe, small backpack will become skinnable. What interesting skins might potentially be accepted? We shall see. We shall see. So, keep an eye out. Lots more interesting things on the horizon. Right, well, I think we've covered everything. You can always look at micro522.com, of course, to be aware of like how each of the skins performed the very second they got accepted. But of course, simply keeping track of all the new skin submissions that appear. If you just go to the straight up landing page, the main website that you see here today, All you got to do is just click date submitted once, and you'll see all the newest submissions that have appeared. All right. And what we see right now, quite a lot of late submissions. Yeah, all of these people were fairly late submitting last week. But if you were to click date submitted, whatever comes out after these would be higher up. So yeah, keep an eye out, start looking. You get the idea. You don't have to set up a nice organized workshop for yourself. You can just, just go on here instead. And it's linked in the description of this video. Well, and if you're worried about where's the accepted section, it's right there. Click that. There you go. You can see all the skins in regards to what's just been accepted in the roster. Okay. I do believe it's probably now time to go ahead and start yapping about the conclusion. Right, so if you've actually just now skipped ahead, I have talked about, waiting it out, being patient. I just discussed with last week's Rustor that it took me being patient and waiting out to realise this bed was actually a very nice thing to jump onto as a nice investment and whatnot. Looking at all these skins, I have made such a big fuss over the past hour or so, talking about how all these skins have not sold that much. I've also talked about how things are starting to look promising for certain skins and certain collections. Keep an eye out with the market cap. So anyway, if I was to sit here and say what I personally believe could potentially be the best investments for the week, would you be shocked to hear that I think almost all of them? Because there's actually quite a lot of potential. So if I could just be very, very straightforward with you, the two skins I don't really have that much faith in are the Angel Sword and the Deadly Wastes AK-47. There's far too many AK-47s, and Salvaged swords look like this after about a week. So, yeah, that's very straightforward to point out. Now, in terms of what I don't feel so confident in, I will say Cel Shading Boots, although they do look as if they could be the lowest selling skin amongst the skins here. It is a dark green collection. I did showcase this in my budget camouflage video, which you can see over there. It was highlighted. There's the roadside gloves. Get a good look at that. So people probably would be looking at those boots with some positivity. But I will remind all of you, those roadside gloves right over there, after being showcased in my budget camouflage video, the highest price they have ever been is $1.30. They sold for 99 cents. So it might go up in price, it might retain its value, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to become a very nice, profitable skin. Still perfectly fine for what it is. Again, if we're going to get some nice budget green camouflage skins, Cel Collection is perfectly fine. Roadside Kilt has definitely been appreciated. Paired up with some various other skins and whatnot, for example, Temple Tier 3. Yep. But you could just wear no boots. Your feet are in the grass. They get covered anyway. They very likely might not be that in demand. And that might be a reason as to why it's the lowest selling skin this week. But if we do get sequels, if we do end up getting hoodie and pants, if we do end up getting Tier 3 being made, and I will ask for it, Tier 2, boots and gloves, both of that would spike a price. It would. So if you have good confidence with that, well, start making considerations. But I will point out it's not abnormal. So that might be a bit of a problem. Now looking at the other skins, I will sit here and say, in terms of what I'm not feeling as confident in, so I'm kind of building myself up to what I believe are the skins that are a whole lot more likely to work out nicely. These two skins, they are looking pretty appealing. They're looking quite nice, but I need to see more. I'm not 100% sure if the Night Instant bed is going to be enough. Okay, ha. Is that enough? Is the joke going to last? There will be a lot more bed skins, but we have been suggesting some silly ideas for potential sequels. I'm sure the skin creator will give it a shot. It might be goofy, it might be silly. Chances are it might just be a one-off though. Just a single skin, no collection. So, is the joke funny enough? Will people just go back to using collection skins and whatnot? Will people just jump back onto their pop star bed and be happy and whatnot? So I'm a bit debatable about that one, but against the low sales, it's the low sales that's making it look a whole lot more appealing. Project Nova, hey, we got the garage door after the sheep in the door, but in so many instances with deplorable collections, which don't really get that far, we always tend to see a garage door and a sheep in the door, and they usually always tend to suffer, which I'm sorry to say, but it's happened a lot more than you realise. However, the skin creator is Decap, and he's very successful with his greening area collection. He is experienced, he has been successful. You know what? maybe we end up as successful as greening area. Like, it's green and it's in the green. Can we say the same with this? Except it's hot and it's hot? Yeah. We should also point out the amount of garage doors that we've seen so far this year, and also acknowledge, wow, the vast majority of them are down bad. There will be more garage doors accepted this year. Twitch drops, kick drops, they're inevitable, okay? It's also not selling that much, though. In fact, it is projected to sell less compared to the sheet metal door. Sheet metal door is now $5. It's doubled in price, but it is thanks to that appearing. Are we guaranteed to get a sequel after the garage door? Or does it potentially end here? And if it does, well, that might be a bit concerning. So I do acknowledge that there can be some very nice things ahead of us, but nothing is a guarantee, and there can be problems, so, okay. With these two skins, I will talk about them in the same sort of level. So I do look at both of these in terms of positivity. They are part of notable collections. With the electric furnace, well, it's part of a collection that was predominantly, very, very in demand as a weapon-only collection. Only now is it starting to dabble into deplorables. I am expecting more. I want to see sheet metal doors and sheet metal double doors, and I see lockers. I want to see storages, boxes, you name it. A regular furnace, that'd be goofy, that'd be funny. $4 can be quite a problem based on the fact that it's got to try and maintain that price. But it's also probably deterring a lot of people from buying too many of them with the pure intent to sell. And there's a lot of people that do that. They just buy lots of skins with the pure intent to sell. Oh, they disgust me. Oh. Who could do such a thing? Anyway, so you do look appealing. Maybe it might be a situation where we just stick with a barter and whatnot. Or maybe this ends up becoming the lowest selling electric furnace by next Thursday. And well, let's just say maybe it only ends up with about 7,000 subscribers. And it does end up getting more and more cold hunter deplorables being accepted after it. Like, you know what then? All the better for it to rise up in price if there's only so many to go around. And yes, it might be a higher price. Guess what? It could go higher. Just saying. So we'll see what becomes of that. But we have to keep an eye on the workshop. We have to keep an eye and see what the skin creator produces next. He did make hoodie and pants recently. What if they get accepted, though? That'd get weird. That would get weird. Right, so, all right, cool. So, in regards to that, I view it with positivity, but I'm also somewhat hesitant. What if we don't see a sequel for quite some time? Well, you know what? With a lack of sales, though, how many listings are we going to even see? Armored door, yeah, we have seen quite a lot of armored doors recently, but this is also part of the Abyss collection, and with the current sales it has, it looks as if it could be the lowest selling skin in the Abyss collection. I've said this many times in the past. When times are good, people do like the Abyss collection. It does get bought out. You might notice some of the skins here down the red. If everything works out nicely with August time, if everything starts getting bought out again, do not be surprised if you see all of this perfectly in the green. Do not be surprised if you see all of these in the green as well. Notably, recently, these two skins right here, they have sold not that much. They have held their value quite nicely. Look at the other auto turrets. Look at the other lockers. Locker's actually a very good shout here. You'll notice that the other recent lockers aren't exactly doing super great, but a certain locker right here is actually doing quite all right. Now, you had transparency, and you're a space theme skin, but down 42, down 41, down 49, down 38, still holding strong, still holding up. So with that, if times are good again soon enough, which might be starting next week with August Force Swipe, you get the point. You probably understand. That's in a very good spot. If that ends up with only about 8,000 subscribers, I might have to just jump straight in. I know we've had a lot of armored doors, but that stands out very nicely. It's part of a notable collection people do appreciate. It's unique, it's interesting, and with a lack of sales, all the better for it to rise up in price in the future. Yeah. Right then, so cool. Yeah, I'm looking at that with positivity. Scientist Sentry Auto Turret. Yep, we've had quite a discussion about this. We've talked about, is it even green camouflage? It just happens to be green, blah, 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 blah. But all it takes is just one video, one content creator to just go ahead and make a video showcasing this. I turned the whole jungle into a booby trap. Ha ha ha. And it just has a montage of people getting shot from hidden sentries, auto turrets. Again, I must reiterate though, you have to put a foundation down and it's going to remove all the plants. But you know what? With some shade, it still works out perfectly fine. It's still devilish and evil. And when we see one video, just one content creator making some fun with that, suddenly everybody wants to do it, and then, oh, lo and behold, oh, look, the price is going up now. I know some people are dismissing it with its higher price. That doesn't really make that much sense because it's only 50 cents more. It's only 50 cents higher compared to the recent skins that we've seen in Rust stores. All right, so that right there, I am a bit 50-50 with it, but I do acknowledge that number one, not selling that much. Number two, it just takes one video and then everybody wants it. All right. Yes, you could say it's a bit of a wild card, but you know what? I mean, come on now. Lots of people just looked at that and instantly said, "Oh, it's green. It's camouflage." Sure, we'll go with that. And maybe simply because of that, that ends up working out quite all right. What if we saw another green auto turret? You might get a kick auto turret in the future, but I'd have reason to believe that I'll probably glow in the dark. So, all right, maybe that's going to be quite all right in the further future then. We'll see. I made a big fuss about the tactical gloves. Yes, I spoke about these for about 5 minutes, but just acknowledge this. Take a look at all the tactical gloves, and you'll notice, wow, all of them are kind of down in price. Yes, they are. However, oh, no, Reptile Hunter's doing quite right now. Anyway, oh, look at that. Training tactical gloves, 25,000 subscribers. They doubled in price. Oh, look at that. Pirate tactical gloves, 31,500 subscribers. They doubled in price. Interesting. Those are blackout alternative skins, and those are blackout alternative skins, and oh, hold on a second. This is an incomplete collection, but it's still holding up quite nicely. And, oh, hang on a minute. These are also black tactical gloves. Blackout alternative option. Still potentially awaiting tier 3 armor to be accepted. Only projected to get around 10,000 subscribers, which is significantly less compared to what we saw here. Also, we've also, already had... oh, I've clicked the wrong thing. I'm trying to be silly here in a way, but getting the point across. Oh, look at that. We've already had Tyre road sign gloves that sold for 99 cents and have already doubled in price. And if I could also point out that they appeared around the same time last year as to now, and if we could show its sales history and point out it didn't even suffer as we went through the autumn-fall seasonal dip. It did not care as we went through October time, and it just kept going up and 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 up. Very, very, very interesting. And that did 15,000 subscribers. Yeah, I have reason to believe that might work out quite all right. Might not be an instant double in price situation, but for the long term, that looks as if it could probably work out quite nicely. So yeah, maybe that might be a pretty good thing to bring up. As would the cartoon set. Not abnormal, but that actually might lead to some people missing out on it, because a lot of people probably are going to sit there and say, oh, I'm going to just try and stick with a buy order, or I'll probably just wait till the last second. Like, when people do abnormal buy orders, right, with reasonably higher prices, they're probably relaxed and happy. They'll probably also jump in and get the extra purchases in. Like, a lot of people, they don't really want to jump in and buy any skins until they've done the abnormal buy orders. And when a skin is not abnormal, well, they don't have that extra assurance. Now, let me also point out, in the past 3 acceptances for SAP skins, as you'll see, they've all been transparent aim sight SAPs. But this is only $2. That sold for $3. That sold for $2.49. Both of these are around $3 at the moment. And these 2 skins here, the previous transparent aim sight SAPs that were marketable, that is pushing up, and it's still going up in price. It's over $7. This right here, it's improving. It's over $5. We have seen some interesting Twitch drops in the past as well that have worked out very nicely in terms of usage and appreciation, and they're transparent aim sights. And yet, with more skins accepted, maybe we could get a collection following you and whatnot. It's a pretty interesting, distinct design. I will sit here and say, though, if times are bad and the other SAPs suffer, well, this is already the cheapest one. It's only $2, and it's got a cute little face right there. How could you say no to that? It's also projected to sell the least amount as well. Yes, it's the top-selling skin, but, 11,000 subscribers, 23,000 subscribers, 22,500 subscribers, 17,500 subscribers. This probably will only reach up to about 12,000 subscribers. Yes, I do believe Cartoon Sap is probably a very good shout, and that probably is the best investment of the week. I did that in about 14 minutes. Sorry, but some people are still going to complain, aren't they? Yeah. They're still going to complain. So, yeah. I tried my best to do that reasonably quickly. Of course, I also spent an hour talking about them a lot more thorough and doing all the comparisons. But yeah, wow, that went on for long, didn't it? So, all's good. You can sit there and tell me what you personally believe are the best investments for the week. You can sit there and dispute things. But honestly, after going through all those skins in order of least interesting to most interesting, I do believe, honestly, that both of these are probably the best things to look at. Yes, there are some interesting things as well, but there are still potential problems there. Inevitably, you must remember, all skins are inevitably going to suffer as we go through September, October, November, okay? Specifically October. Please keep that in mind. Yes, we're hoping that starting next week, all skins really do start to improve. More specifically, August Force Wipe, things should start to improve very nicely. Our prices, oh, so much better. And again, keep an eye on the market cap. Start looking around with certain collections and looking at certain skins, because you can start to visualize and see with your own eyes things are improving. Whoa. Yes. Maybe initially things might be quite all right, but inevitably prices do tend to suffer. So look at these and acknowledge there is a fairly decent chance you might see sequels, collection continuations, but maybe it only works out very nicely until around January 2027. I mean, at the most reliable, safest time to sell for a good profit, that would be the thing to say. But if you are considering selling, acknowledge there's a fairly decent chance you could pick up these same skins for a cheaper price around October time. So if we do see sequels, if we see any interesting spikes in price with these skins within the next month, maybe it might not be too bad of an idea to consider selling and then try and buy these back again on the Steam market during October time, okay? So I just want to also point that out to you as well. A potential strategy, a potential plan. Because, of course, after you buy them in October time, wait it out, then consider selling around January 2027, post-Christmas time. When we expect to see lots of people playing, and, of course, we also expect to see prices going up ever so nicely. I say that so much, but if I keep it in your head, you don't forget. Oh, that went on for long. Yes. So that's why we saved this for Saturday, okay? Thank you very much for watching the video. If you watched all of it, you're a trooper. Even if you happen to listen to the same thing again in the final 15 minutes, but that was for the people who don't want to stick around. They're still going to complain at me. It is what it is. Right then. Yep, thank you very much. And don't forget, next Thursday, Global Warfare event. Let's go back over to here. Showcasing that. If you'd like to watch someone during the event, you can watch this idiot if you want to. I assure you, I won't yap so much. It's all good. It's all... All right, so that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for watching me. I greatly appreciate it. Catch you later. Say goodbye.